Believe we're heading up to nearly a year now since, of course, this man, the Right Honourable Sir Keir Starmer, became our current British Prime Minister. Seems a lot longer, right? Particularly if you are living here in the United Kingdom. And when you look at this particular picture, this was a picture, I mentioned this before, this was like the elite, allegedly, of all the political reporters jumping on the free flight with Keir to do one of his very first business dealings. Another huge failing, but they failed to sort of report on that. Now, I would say that 90% of those reporters have now turned against Sir Keir Starmer and his government. Literally right from the off, people forget this, but the Taylor Swift debacle, the free suits, two-tier Keir, flying everywhere, never hear Keir. He was the Prime Minister that actually promised so much and has delivered even less than little. But of course, a year's a long time in politics. And now, of course, what you do look at is, and let's not forget, this is a man that decided he couldn't bear to have successful people like the Right Honourable Sir Winston Churchill and, of course, the 3 times very first female British Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Margaret Thatcher, looking down upon him. So like a petulant child, he took the portraits down, oh yes, but lied to the President of the United States, Donald Trump, basically said, oh, Winston Churchill, wonderful guy, but clearly couldn't stand him and can't bear him in the same room. Apparently the reason why he had to take the portraits down was he felt that they were the wrong tone. Well, clearly Sir Keir Starmer's the wrong tone for this particular tourist attraction. But here's what you don't know. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. Nice to have your company in this lush green area. It's a lovely area, this. I'll just show you. Look at the gardens, aren't they nice? How is it other people suddenly make their things look better than yours? You know what I mean? You go out armed with a weed killer spray, nothing happens. Somebody comes out, they can get little pots going like that. You think, all neatly done as well. Is your garden nice? Oh, don't be shy. Yes. Oh, I know. It gets to that point you go out with the full of vigour, don't you, with the fly mow, and suddenly you think, oh no, I can't be bothered. You do a few sort of things, you think, oh no, I'll have a sit down. Suddenly you hear somebody like across the thing with their lawnmower. You're thinking, I wonder if I give them 20 quid if they'll come and do mine. You know what I mean? We've all done it, let's be honest, It's your day off and you think, do I really want to be doing this? But of course it's the peaking neighbours, isn't it? Yes, looking over, saying, oh, look at that lawn. Yes, it's a bit like this particular story with Keir Starmer. You see, if you remember when Keir Starmer came to office, very quickly he was outed as being dressed by this man, right down to a pair of socks and underpants apparently. Oh yes, Lord Ali, Lord Wahid Ali. Used to be the boss of the Big Breakfast for Planet 24 on Channel 4 and then branched out into becoming something of a, well, we're not quite sure what. He seemed to be a little bit short on ideas, I'll just leave it there. But the idea, of course, was to get Sir Keir into number 10. And for that, he very much secured it. But the thing is, people have to have an ego, and Sir Keir Starmer has a huge ego. And the thing with him is he can't bear it if things are going wrong. He almost gets a little bit teary, the quivering lip. Now, earlier this week, he was told that, get this, that the tourist attraction here in the centre of London, Madame Tussauds, has decided to abandon plans to actually put together a waxwork. Now, this is normally a bit of a thrill and honour. Even when he was mayor, Boris Johnson made it into there, and then, of course, becoming Prime Minister. It's the sort of thing people want to look at, Now, here's where it gets interesting, because according to an excellent source at number 10 Downing Street, Keir was so desperate he was willing to give away some of those designer suits that Lord Ali had presented to him. Literally everything, the pair of glasses, every single thing that they needed. Well, the truth is he can't actually get in those original suits now, but we'll leave that there. But the problem is that they've said, no, we don't really see any sort of, mileage in this. The true story is, behind the scenes, is this is really what's going on. It's not necessarily that they don't want him, but, there's no great rush for him, of course. But the true story is that they can't afford the security. You see, they feel that because he's recently been voted the most unpopular British Prime Minister since polling began, that people will try and do tricks, whether they smack him, knock him down, deface him, getting to hold things, it costs a lot of money. So they have to be sure that they can protect the waxwork. I told you a while back how people were going up and smacking the face of Meghan Markle's waxwork, right? This does happen. They take pictures, they put it on TikTok and Instagram and stuff like that, right? So they just don't want this with Keir Starmer. According to a source, Sir Keir might avail himself, and as ever we have to say allegedly, to contributing towards the cost of making it. Now, if that's not vanity, what is? But they're still not interested. Either way, Keir Starmer remains not a man in the House of Wax. Neil Sean in the very heart of London.